Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. Before we get started on today's video, just want to thank everybody for supporting the channel, pushing to 3,000 subscribers. So if you guys do enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So more Jimmy Butler news. There's been news all day. Just been really busy, so I haven't been able to make that video. I made one earlier this morning about Jimmy reiterating that he wants to get traded, that he will not sign a new contract with the Miami Heat ever. He met with Pat Riley face-to-face this last week while the Miami Heat have been on the road during this 6-game road trip, and he wants to get traded. But there's nothing out there right now that the Miami Heat like. They're getting offers, but they're getting lowballed, and they're going to wait until they get something that they actually think is valuable, and they want picks. They want expiring contracts. They want good players. They want rotational players that can help them win now, apparently. And it is important for them to win now because the Miami Heat, if they don't make the playoffs this season, then they're going to lose 2 first-round picks. They're going to be unprotected first-round picks. And without Jimmy Butler next season, the Miami Heat could be a bad team. I mean, right now, the Miami Heat have been pretty damn healthy. I think Jimmy Butler's the player that has missed the most games prior to him requesting a trade, prior to him going on a 7-game suspension, which he'll miss his 6th straight game tomorrow against the Lakers. But barring an injury next season, the Miami Heat could be in big trouble if Tyler or Bam or whoever gets hurt, and they could be a team that finishes 11th or 12th in the East next season. And if that's the case, and they miss the playoffs this season, then they owe a first-round pick to, I think, Hornets for the Terry Rozier trade, and I think the Thunder. If they make the playoffs, they give the Thunder their pick this year, but it is lottery protected. So they need some win-now players for Jimmy Butler. And so the new news that I have, which is interesting, so Chris Haynes was on the Le Batard show, and he gave a lot of good information today around the Jimmy Butler situation. So what he did say was Jimmy Butler, after his suspension, will be over on Thursday after he misses his 7th consecutive game against the Lakers. He said, what I can tell you right now is that I'm told Jimmy Butler is fully prepared to return to play for the Miami Heat if he is not moved by the time the suspension is lifted, which is very interesting. So there has been some reports that Jimmy could play with the Miami Heat. A lot of folks think that Jimmy Butler has played his last game in a Miami Heat uniform. I thought this 100% the day he made that request. So after his interview against the Pacers, where he literally didn't play and stood in the corner and said he lost all his joy and all this crap, and then hours after the game, we got the tweet that he requested a trade from the Miami Heat, and so there was thoughts that Jimmy Butler was never going to play, and I thought he wasn't going to play again in a Miami Heat uniform. But then Jimmy basically is saying if he's not traded, he will be prepared to play for the Miami Heat, which will be extremely awkward and could be detrimental. And I'm shocked that he has not been traded thus far. And I'm surprised because Miami also said when he requested that trade, I want to get traded. They want to trade him ASAP. They're looking for deals immediately, but then they lost leverage, and teams were obviously not giving the best offer, trying to get Jimmy for pennies on the dollar, which makes sense because he just demanded a trade. They know they have to trade him to a certain degree, obviously, unless they want a disgruntled player to tarnish the season and be a distraction for the rest of the year. And they haven't found a trade yet that they enjoy. And Jimmy Butler could be back on Friday against the Denver Nuggets. And again, do you have to play him? Like, even if he's suspended, can't he just be a coach's decision, like not played? Like, can he just be a DNP and can he just sit on the bench, just make his money, and then you wait until the February 6th trade deadline to see if teams get more urgent, like the Bulls or the Bucks or the Suns or whoever, and see if you can find like a 3, 4, 5 team deal to get Jimmy Butler to the Suns or another destination where the Miami Heat can recoup enough assets which they deem worthy for trading Jimmy Butler by that deadline, because the Heat have also said there's no urgency now. Like initially they said we're going to try to do it ASAP, but then once they realized that no one was giving him any good offers and he didn't have as high of a market value anymore, they said we're not urgent to trade him. I said there's no urgency to trade him right now because he has a player option and he said he's not going to pick it up. He said that before. Today, he basically said, and I quoted this in my other video, that he might use it as leverage next season. So I could see him opting in if the Miami Heat don't trade him and they use that as a sign and trade so that Jimmy is guaranteed to get that 52 million with another team versus him opting out and not finding a deal that he likes, for 2 to 3 years, which is what he's looking for essentially with the Suns in particular. But should be very interesting to see. Does Jimmy play? If he plays, how can we gauge if he's actually trying? How many shot attempts does he need to take to gauge that he's actually playing basketball and trying to help this team win? Why would he want to help this team win? If he doesn't play hard, though, then that's going to even further decrease his value and his opportunity to get an extension with another team. Like people are going to be like, here we go again. Why are we going to risk any money or anybody on our roster for Jimmy Butler who's going to quit on this team, who's going to get upset that he's not getting his extension and his money, and then he's going to request a trade himself. So it's not a good look for him personally. I think he will have to play hard. It's just, are the Miami Heat can actually play him? Or are they just going to just sit him on the bench? Who knows what's going to happen? But I thought the ultimate deadline was going to be this 2-week time frame where he had that 7-game suspension. But ultimate timeline now is February 6th. And so we do have a few weeks or so until that deadline, and that's when things could get very interesting. So anyway, that's all I have for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.